morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Unlocked. I'm your host for the next 30 minutes, Tracy Wilson, and today I have got a special guest, and when I say a special guest, I really do mean it. So it would be the most special guest I will ever have on my show. I'm sorry to all you other people that are going to come on the show, but it is absolutely true. This is my husband, John Wilson.
Good morning.
And it's been a little while of me trying to convince him to get on the show with me, but he has graciously accepted. And in my normal fashion, I usually throw things at him at the last minute and he just, grabs the ball and just runs with it. So huge, big welcome to him on the show today. So guys, if you're watching inside of the Success Secrets for Business, Family and Life, you know the drill. You're able to communicate with both John and I today, and you'll be able to send comments to us. I know. Oh my God, right. Robin, the man is here. You will actually get to hear him speak and not just see him sitting in the background when we have our team meetings in the morning. So you guys know the drill. You can communicate with me through the chat. If you're watching on YouTube or any of the other channels, then you comment there and I will be right there to answer any questions that you guys have. This is also being streamed as a podcast. So for those of you that have been tuning in live or that have been watching the replays and you can't always watch them live, you can't get a visual, no problem. You can just go to iTunes and download the Unlock Show with Tracy Wilson and you'll be able to tune in and listen in anytime you like. So let's get the show on the road. Let's talk about, this is something that I've thought about a lot because I hear this particular topic is brought up inside of Facebook groups all the time. And I see people asking, how do you get your partner on board and get them to be supportive when I'm trying to do my entrepreneurial thing? And we all know that in the entrepreneurial world, when you step out into this, it has some really highs and some real big lows. So I just wanted to, I thought this would be a great topic for us to talk about and to talk about really not from my perspective so much, but I asked John to come on and to talk about it from his perspective. I have no clue what he's going to say, guys. So I haven't, I've just said to him, this is the topic that I think we should talk about. I think it will be really useful for a lot of people in our community. And I just said to him, write down a few pointers and let's talk about it. But the first thing I wanted to say is that we're going to talk a little bit also about our relationship. I'm pretty comfortable in doing all of that John's not. He'll tell you that he don't like talking about that sort of stuff. So I'll try not to put him too much on the spot and make him share too many personal things. But, we've been together a long, long time. And through that, obviously, even in business, you have ups and downs. In life, you have ups and downs. And in a partnership and a marriage, you have those ups and downs. But there are certain things that we have built our relationship on that I think have held us in really good stead with bringing up our children, being together for, over 30 odd years now. And those same values, I have been able to obviously embrace those and bring them into every aspect of the business that I do. So I want to bring them up and I'm going to let John talk a little. He's going to be like, what the heck? See those eyes? I know when I'm like in trouble because I get the eyes. But I will bring up some words on the screen and we'll just sort of talk to those a little bit before we launch into a bit of backstory, a bit of the highs and the lows and just kind of how he's navigated it all. You good with that? He's like, I don't think I really have a choice because, you're running the show and all. So anyway, here we go. So I'll hand over to John. So welcome to him. And now I'm going to shush and let him talk for a bit.
Thanks, Trace. I think just to start with, I think it's quite emotional just listening to how it all started. And
I've got to help him out now. So he gets a bit emotional because it's been a bit of a journey, this whole thing, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And, when I think back to, the stuff that we've done in terms of like how we've built our relationship, it's certainly been built on, we call them these 5 pillars. And it's funny because we've never really talked about them so much, have we? Until
this morning.
Till this morning we went, well, actually, what has our relationship really been built on? And we came down to these 5 things.
Yes. I think what I want to say is I'm very proud of what Tracy's achieved. And just listening to her start off this streaming and how she's put it together and what I see her do on a daily basis, it's quite inspiring for someone who is 100% not a front person. Like, don't get me wrong, I love to do work in the background, and I'll do whatever is required for us to succeed as a partnership. But this front this front thing is not my thing at all.
So yeah, I've been pretty lucky, to convince him to get here, and he makes me proud every day, just being able to, be supportive and allow me to do the things that I do. So the 5 things that we came up with were these. So we said the number one thing is like trust, is that we know that we've got one another's backs. And I know that, I've said this a lot, that when we're out in public, or even behind the scenes or in public, the way in which we speak about one another is really, really important. So we champion each other and make sure that, when we're out and about, we're saying how proud we are of what each other has achieved. And
sorry, Trace, just to jump in, I don't think we have to do it. I think it's come about based on the fact that I truly believe in what she's doing. And like, I think the first word that we've got up there is trust, and I trust in her and her brain and what can and can't work. And as Trace said before, we've had highs and lows through this whole process, and we wouldn't be in the position we are in without trust being a big part of it. I think it all started back, I'm not sure how long ago now, but when a decision was made to go out and be self-employed. I think for me that was a big trust thing, because I've grown up in a world where employment was a key, and steady employment and having steady income, and trusting Trace in what she believed was the right thing. But there was some key things that pointed me, what assisted me in supporting Tracy through that. One was, I think, her enthusiasm. 2 was the fact that the drain on her 9 to 5 day that she got paid to work 9 to 5. But at the end of the day, it wasn't a 9 to 5 job. It was a 7 till 7 job. I think Trace missed out on a number of things family related. Would you put it that way?
Yeah. Just so I think John's alluding to the fact that, when the kids were really little, me having to go to, both of us having to go to work, it's not just, one-sided, both of us having to go to work and put the kids in daycare and all of those sorts of things, because the 9 to 5 job and having something that was steady was seen to be the right thing to do. And as you guys know, we're very young parents, so just, trying to do the right thing and having a job and having a good job that paid well seemed to be at the time the right thing to do. But it means that you have to you've got to make sacrifices somewhere, and that came at the sacrifice of spending a lot of time with our children because they were in daycare a lot, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So the next thing we've got on here is respect, and just having that mutual respect. And I talked a little bit about just the way in which we speak to one another. I hear other couples, and that's, sometimes I think, you really need to speak to one another like that. I think it starts with how you think about each other, and then the words that you actually use to communicate with one another is a really big part of it. Yes,
I think for me that respect comes like I respect Tracy enough. If we're having a downtime or things aren't going our way, I don't need to bring that up with other people or any other in a situation that embarrasses not only her but me as well. I think the key for me in relation to the respect part is that I've got the respect for her, and I know she has it for me as well, that we can do these things when people aren't around.
You can figure it out, right?
Yes.
You just get good at figuring stuff out. And like I said, the communication is super key.
Yep.
There's a lot of things that I've grown up in a environment where communication wasn't always top of the priority list, and maybe keeping secrets was something that was fairly common. but I don't believe that that is a good way to, to build a relationship. It's being open and being honest, with what's going on.
Yeah, and I think we do that on a daily basis anyway. I think Trace picked up on the other day. I said to one of the kids, "Oh, don't tell Mum," but I knew she was listening. I knew she would hear what we were doing, and the two of us were just planning out to go for a fish on the boat for the day. So,
Needless to say, I said, I heard that, and we don't have secrets around here. So what's going on? So they had to sort of let me in. I mean, and then compromise. That was a big thing for you, wasn't it?
Yes, I think the compromises. It's that like there isn't like. I think compromise when you look at it to start with, the compromise to start with was about the money, because you're not having a regular income. But I think compromise is a big word, and it can go across a lot of spectrums.
I mean, I think that what John's getting at in terms of like the compromises, like how does that relate to business? I mean, also in terms of compromise, it's like us having, compromising with one another. I mean, these are all things that's really interesting, because as we wrote these down, I was like, yeah, well, they're all the same sort of things that I hold dearly as far as values for my business. I mean, and that's why I do the show. That's why I do the show Unlocked, which encompasses business, family, and life, because it's all part of the same thing. Like it's like the way you do one thing is the way that you do all things. So, the way that we create our family unit is the way in which I create my family unit when I'm doing business. So, I apply these principles across everything, even with, the clients that I work with. They become part of my family, and we work on the basis of trust, respect, communication, support, and compromise. That's just the way in which every facet of my life, seems to work, now that I've sat down and really thought about that. So I wanted John to also share with you guys, I suppose, some of the background. You guys know that I came from a corporate career, which was, it was a very well-paid job. And I stepped out of that into oh my God, I could be earning nothing. And I could tell you that happened for 2 years. I did this, what would we call it? An entrepreneurship, an apprenticeship, we would call it, an unpaid apprenticeship for 2 years, whilst I was sort of learning the ropes of this coaching and consulting world. How did you feel about all of that? And maybe you could tell some of the stories of where was that moment of, okay, I'm on board with all of this.
Yeah, I don't know if it came straight away, but I think the number one that we've got up there in relation to trust, I think to start with, it was about trusting you. And I know with what you do and how you are in the corporate world and how you could apply that into the business world, I knew that you could achieve anything that you wanted to achieve. So I think that part was the easy part. I think, as you said, there has been highs and lows. We've had the amount of highs that we've had from you being in this position being self-employed or an entrepreneur. We've done things that I never thought we would do, or that we would have to save lots and lots of money to be able to do. I've been to America a number of times, and I thought I'd only get to go once. I've traveled around. I've spent months and months based on what you do in your business and how you're supporting your clients in America and, wherever they are in the world. And it's not just in one place. So, that's some of the highs. The other high is watching your satisfaction and your client's satisfaction when things get achieved that you plan to get achieved. So all the hard work that you put in for your clients and seeing the outcome at the end of the day. And that outcome typically is that they get money in the bank. And I know the hard work that you put in to ensure that it happens. And on the flip side of that, I get frustrated because I know she gets paid to do this much. And at the end of the day, you do this much, and you go above and beyond to ensure that your clients' needs are exceeded. And I suppose that's one of the frustrating things. And I think I've spoken to you about it a number of times. And
what advice would you give? Because I think that's fairly common of particularly most of the entrepreneurs that I know, we get paid for this much, but you go above and beyond and you're trying to do the very best you can because it's your reputation and your name and your brand on the line to help your client.
I think, sorry to interrupt, but I think I would stop you there. And I think that's what sets you apart from other entrepreneurs or some other entrepreneurs, because we've had contracts in place where you've subcontracted somebody to do something and they only do what you've paid for. Anything over and above that, you have to pay extra money for. So I think the way you work and the way I would say the majority work are two totally different. And I think it's frustrating, but when you see the end result, it gives you that, you get a tingle from it, like how satisfying it is.
You guys getting the gist of how this goes? I can go on a tangent there and say, hey, come back here for a minute, just get yourself in check. So, that's one of the ways that we work really well together. So probably more from the entrepreneur and also maybe speaking to their partner. So if one of their partners was listening to this, what do you think is the best way for you as a partner to feel like because entrepreneurship can often be all consuming.
Yes.
Like it can consume that person completely. What sort of things can the entrepreneur do to make sure that their partner is still feeling like they are important?
I'm just recalling back when we
there we go.
How long ago it was, but it was a little while ago, and I think I've still got the book at work. We actually I think when we talked about this as a couple or as a partnership on how I could be more involved, we actually had, I'm not sure if you remember, we had weekly meetings.
I do remember.
And they were accountability meetings in relation to what we were doing for the week as in the business and outside of the business, and what needed to be achieved so that you could achieve the goals. And I think that gave me a sense of the amount of work you had to do and what was required in your entrepreneurial role. So I think that was a good thing to do. You have got me involved in other projects, Project Unite Us. And as I said right at the start, I don't mind doing the stuff at the back, building websites.
He's got pretty good at that too, by the way.
and all the back sort of stuff. I've just been told, this is the parameters. This is how we're working towards this for a client. I don't mind doing that sort of stuff, but I think it was January last year, you got me to get on front of the camera and do a few lives, and they were very scary. And I've got to say, this isn't as scary, and I'm not sure why.
Well, there you go, guys. Like, John is totally not in this world of entrepreneurship that we do, and this is very a foreign thing to do for him. So one of the things I want you guys to take away from this is, if you are sitting back, and I've had multiple messages from people going, hey, I've been watching what you're doing and you're inspiring me and I want to do that too. I'm hoping that that is exactly what you guys are, that we're giving you a bit of inspiration to sort of step outside of your comfort zone and do things that are a little bit different.
Yeah, I think we need to come back to the original question, which was about how partners, or how I could be part of your business. I think that was the question. And I'm a little bit where I go off on a tangent as well. And I think having a good understanding and the communication between the two of us was the key for it. Because I know it can be, with the ups and downs, you've just got to remember that you've got to ride them, and there will be middle ground at the end of the day, because it's not all going to be down. There are going to be highs that come out of it.
Guys, if you've got any questions for us, type them into the chat box and we'll make sure that we answer them. So we've got just a comment here from Reza. She's saying that my husband cannot get out of his business mind, along with always creating. I need my shutdown time. That's a really good, I suppose, comment to make. I mean, how do we manage that?
Well, I manage it quite easily. Tracy's 100%, or sorry, 90% in that zone, and it's about getting like I often try and get her out of the house. I tried to get her out of the house on Monday when I came home from fishing, just to do different things so that she's not 100% consumed in it. Whereas I find I've got a number of outlets that I can rely on. I've got a great group of friends called the Friday Warriors and Burley Heads on the Gold Coast here. There's about 50 active members at the moment, males, where we support each other in life and business and sports and everything. They're there for you through thick and thin, and I think that's what our partnership's about as well.
I think that's also an extremely important piece of, I suppose, the whole partnership puzzle, whether it be in, with a marriage or a partnership like a union like that, or whether it's a business partnership that you allow each other to have enough space to be able to do your own thing and be your own person. And be comfortable that that's okay to allow them to do that. And John does get to go down there and has an amazing relationship with a bunch of guys that, that have become, really good mates. So, being okay with that and not nagging, where are you and are you coming home and all of those sorts of things doesn't happen very often. Look at that face. Does not happen. Allow him to go and do his own stuff. And equally, he allows me to do that too. So when I get with my entrepreneurial friends, we get to hang out and have a whole lot of fun too. So I'm just looking at our some of our notes here and just how I suppose some of these things have really impacted you, and maybe even talk about how it's impacted family and kids.
Ooh. Okay, I think the boys they're at that age where they're very much. I'll go back. So, I'm not sure if you're aware, but we have 3 boys. So Tracy is 100% overridden with sport in this house. Or when all the boys are around, their families all come around every Sunday night for dinner, and sport is the main talking point. Sport is on TV the whole time that they're here. We eat, we talk, we enjoy each other's company. We do play board games now and again and do different things, but I think we've got a very tight knit community, tight knit family, and we support each other through everything.
Yeah, I've got a huge, and I think I know who this has come from. It says Facebook user, but I think I can read, hear, and know who this is, and I believe it would be Andre. So he's saying, completely agree. Being in business can be completely consuming, but by having a partner that can support it and support you and do it together as a team. Carla and I still run our 10 a.m. meetings and have accountability meetings to support and communicate with each other's days. We only manage to allocate a couple of hours a week to break each other out of the zone unless we are constantly ticking things off. When we do take a break, we try to take a break with no devices, laugh out loud. Otherwise, one of us is emailing and messaging one another. So, it's great to see that even other couples are doing this sort of stuff. And I know those guys, and I know that they have a really good relationship and also business partnership because of these simple things that they are also doing that make a massive difference to, how the journey of entrepreneurship can be for both parties. It can be, really positive, I think, for both involved if you have, those 5 pillars and you make sure that you communicate regularly, where each other stands.
I think about it just came to me when the last time we were in Nashville and we went to a big event, and a lot of the people there, and I didn't think about it till now, were that we networked with were in couples as well that were successful entrepreneurs in their business. A lot of them had their partners with them.
Yeah, they did. And so I think, it comes back to that whole, I suppose, if you can work together, you can do so many things much quicker, much more effectively if you're both on the same page. And I think you would all agree that kind of goes across everything that you do. And I know when I started out, the business was going to be, it was my business. It was, you'd say that's your thing, but over time, it's not that. It's our thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Even though I sort of am in it and doing it every day, it very much is our family's family business, and it's the legacy that we're going to be leaving. So I've got here, John. Here we go. John, have you ever thought of owning a business with Tracy?
Definitely, and we had started a project called Project Unite Us, which just wasn't with Trace; it was with our whole family. So there was a hiccup in relation to the technology side, but in saying that, we've come up with an answer. Well, Tracy has come up with an answer for that. So yeah, 100%. We have thought about working together, and it's not just me; it's the boys. So our children and their partners as well have all been involved. And at that time, my granddaughter had been involved as well. So we spent many a Sundays working through business stuff.
Business plan, right?
Business plans,
yeah. So we sort of brought our whole family together with an idea and a concept, but actually involved them in the whole sort of planning and rollout process. And like John said, I mean, it's just on hold right now. We've got a brand new platform that we're going to be launching that on. So we'll tell you a little bit about that a bit later on. But keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. And it's really about helping families, be more united no matter where they are in the world.
And unfortunately, that sounds like I might have to do some more lives.
I think he might. What do you guys reckon? I think he's pretty good at this stuff. So it would be nice to have him back and just sharing some more things. So anyway, we thought today, is there anything else that you sort of want to finalise on today?
No.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew as soon as I said, do you want to say anything else? He said, no. But as soon as we get off, he'll say, I should have said this and this and this, which will be a great lead into another show. So anyway, thanks so much today, guys. I wanted to bring John on. This show is about being unlocked. And part of that is like allowing you guys to see, not just the CEO, the CEO side of me, but also, what goes on in my personal life. How do I manage that? What do I do with my kids? How does that all come together? And I'm extremely lucky that I have, the partner that I do. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back right now because I chose really well, and have trained him really well too, might add. And, and I'm lucky enough to have him, by my side and sharing all of the experiences that I have now and be supportive of what I do, which means that I can go out and do the things that I do to help as many people as I possibly can. And even today, when John was saying, I don't know, do I want to get on here? I said, well, look, let's just think about if we can help one person or one couple think about, how can they have a better relationship? How can they have a better marriage? How can I have a better partnership? Then we've done a great job for the day. So I'm hoping that you guys, I wanted to share a little bit of John with you, and he's tapping me now going, okay, wrap this up. That's what happens. Oh, it's a shut up, Trace. I want to talk. So
I just want to thank Trace for the opportunity to come on here, even though Trace is really good at doing these things and I feel like I'm not. But I think, as Trace said, if we can help one person, and I don't know if we have or if we haven't, but if we can help you in any other way offline, then by all means just message through privately if you wish, and we'll do whatever we can to assist you, whether or not it be me, Trace, or the both of us together.
So thanks very much, guys. Tune in again. We will be back again next Tuesday. I've got another special guest. No, not John. He will come back again at another time. But I want to thank you guys. Don't forget, please go ahead and go to iTunes, download my podcast. The more of you guys I can get to download my podcast, the better. And if you find these shows good, then I would recommend that you share them with other people. So please make sure that you tell people about the success secrets for business, family, and life. Get them to get their butts inside of our community so that we can help you guys, and then also get them to download the podcast, Unlocked with Tracy Wilson. I would love you guys to do that. Appreciate you guys being here, and I look forward to seeing you guys again next week on another episode of Unlocked with Tracy Wilson. Have a fantastic weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thanks.